Studies show that people who regularly engage in creative activities are 52% less likely to experience chronic stress than those who do not. 52%. That is not a small number. That is more than half. And yet most of us have been taught, whether by school, by work culture, or by the relentless pressure of productivity, that creativity is a luxury. Something you earn after the real work is done. What if that belief is not just wrong, but actively making your life harder? In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover the science behind why creativity and relaxation are not opposites, they are partners. You will learn how the same brain states that allow you to make art, solve problems, and dream up new ideas are also the brain states that restore your nervous system. We will look at what happens in your brain during creative flow, why modern life accidentally shuts both creativity and relaxation down at the same time, and, here's the part that surprises almost everyone, why the path to deep rest might actually run straight through creative expression, not around it. For most of human history, creativity was not considered separate from daily life. Ancient communities sang together, painted cave walls, wove patterns into cloth, and carved images into stone. These were not hobby activities done on weekends. They were woven into the rhythm of existence. Anthropologists who study hunter-gatherer societies have found that creative expression, storytelling, music making, decorative crafting, was practiced regularly and communally. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology have noted that this kind of creative activity appears to be deeply tied to social bonding and stress regulation, suggesting that humans evolved alongside creative practice, not separate from it. The separation of creativity from everyday life is, historically speaking, extremely recent. The Industrial Revolution pushed most people into repetitive, output-focused labor. Schools began measuring intelligence through standardized tests rather than imaginative capacity. And gradually, over generations, the message became clear: creativity is for artists, and rest is for when the work is finished. Both ideas have turned out to be deeply problematic. Here is something specific your brain does when you engage in creative activity. Neuroscientists at Stanford University have identified 3 distinct neural networks that activate during creative thought: the default mode network, the executive control network, and the salience network. Under normal waking conditions, these networks tend to operate in opposition to each other. But during creative engagement, particularly during activities like drawing, writing, or playing music, something remarkable happens. All 3 networks begin to work in concert. They synchronize. And this synchronized state is associated not only with creative insight but also with measurably reduced cortisol levels, slower heart rate, and the kind of calm, absorbed attention that characterizes deep relaxation. In other words, your brain does not experience creativity and relaxation as separate states. In many ways, it experiences them as the same state accessed from different doors. This is where the concept of flow becomes essential. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying what happens when people become completely absorbed in a meaningful activity. He called it flow, a state where challenge and skill are perfectly balanced, where self-consciousness dissolves, where time seems to slow or disappear entirely. Athletes experience it. Musicians experience it. Painters, writers, and coders experience it. And what Csikszentmihalyi found was that people consistently described flow as one of the most satisfying and restorative experiences of their lives. Not exhausting. Restorative. The kind of deep refreshment that sleep is supposed to provide but sometimes fails to deliver when anxiety is high. But here is what nobody talks about. Flow and relaxation share a neurological signature. Both states are characterized by reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-monitoring, judgment, and the mental chatter that keeps so many people awake at night. This reduction in prefrontal activity is called transient hypofrontality. And it is the same mechanism that explains why a long run, a meditation session, and an hour of painting can all leave you feeling eerily calm and clear-headed afterward. Your inner critic goes quiet. Your planning mind steps back. And what remains is something closer to pure presence, which is exactly what relaxation, at its deepest level, actually is. Research published in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people who engaged in creative activities on a given day reported higher levels of positive affect and flourishing the following day. Not the same day. The next day. The benefits carried forward. A 2016 study by psychologists at Drexel University found that just 45 minutes of creative activity significantly reduced cortisol in participants regardless of their prior experience or artistic skill level. You do not have to be talented. You do not have to be trained. The brain does not care whether your painting wins awards. It cares whether you were absorbed, whether you were present, whether you let yourself play. This is critical because most adults have a complicated relationship with creative activity precisely because they have tied it to performance. They stopped drawing because someone told them they were not good at it. They stopped singing because they felt embarrassed. They stopped writing because the inner critic was too loud. And in doing so, they accidentally cut themselves off from one of the most effective and freely available relaxation tools their nervous system has access to. Think about what actually happens when chronic stress builds without release. Your sympathetic nervous system stays activated. Cortisol accumulates. Sleep quality declines. Cognitive flexibility, your ability to think in new ways, to problem solve, to imagine alternatives, begins to narrow. Stress makes you rigid. And rigidity, ironically, makes you worse at handling the next stressor that arrives. It becomes a self-reinforcing loop. Creative engagement interrupts that loop. A study from the American Journal of Public Health reviewed more than 100 studies on the effects of creative activity on health outcomes. Across conditions ranging from chronic pain to depression to anxiety, creative engagement consistently produced measurable improvements. Across 100 studies. That level of replication in psychological research is genuinely rare. What makes this particularly interesting is the role of uncertainty and play. Healthy creative practice requires tolerating not knowing. When you sit down to make something, you do not always know what it will become. That tolerance for open-ended exploration is actually a form of nervous system training. It teaches your brain to remain calm in the presence of ambiguity, which is, when you think about it, exactly the skill you need to navigate the unpredictability of daily life without tipping into anxiety. So how do you apply this? The answer is simpler than most people expect. You do not need a studio. You do not need talent. You do not need hours. Research by cognitive scientist Rex Young at the University of New Mexico suggests that even brief, low-stakes creative engagement, doodling, humming, freewriting, rearranging objects, activates the same beneficial neural pathways as more elaborate creative work. The brain responds to the quality of engagement, not the quantity of output. Building small creative rituals into the hours before sleep is particularly powerful. The relaxed, slightly drowsy state that precedes sleep, a state called the hypnagogic state, is also one of the most creatively fertile states your brain enters. Thomas Edison famously tried to catch himself in this state to harvest creative ideas. Artists and writers have described it as the zone where their best ideas arrive. Allowing yourself to draw or journal or hum softly in the hour before bed does not keep you awake. It actually eases the transition into sleep by quieting analytical thought and activating the relaxed, associative thinking that the sleeping brain prefers. The relationship between creativity and relaxation is not a coincidence. It is not a lifestyle trend. It is a feature of human neurology that existed long before anyone named it. When you create without judgment, when you allow yourself to play, when you let your mind wander in a purposeful and gentle way, you are not wasting time. You are doing some of the most restorative work your nervous system knows how to do. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Sleep Wave for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.